President Trump was speaking at the Future Investment Initiative Summit in Miami this week and talked about all of this, waste, corruption, abuse, and fraud that we have found and uncovered with DOGE's efforts. Watch.
In less than a single month, the Department of Government Efficiency has already saved over this is just a short period of time, $55 billion. And we're just getting started. That's nothing compared to the numbers that you're talking about, right? We're ending trillions of dollars in waste, and it'll mean much lower inflation, lower interest rates, lower payments on mortgages, credit cards, car loans, and much higher stock markets. I think the stock market's going to be great. In other words, we will rapidly grow our economy by dramatically shrinking the federal government, and we have to do it.
So after the summit, Trump also signaled that he would be open to a proposal by Elon Musk to have dividend paid directly to taxpayers from all of this money that we are saving from DOGE uncovering all of this waste. Here was some of that.
Elon Musk is proposing potentially giving money to Americans based on what DOGE is finding. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I love it. A 20% dividend, so to speak, for the money that we're saving by going after the waste and fraud and abuse and all of the other things that are happening. I think it's a great idea.
How much money do you think?
Could be a lot. I mean, if it's 20%, we'd give back a lot of money to the taxpayer. And also it would give an incentive for the taxpayer to go out and report things to us where we can save money.
So, Stephen, am I a mathematician?
No, you are not.
Am I anywhere close to a mathematician?
No, you're pretty far from it.
All right.
Math is not your strong suit.
Thank you. Okay, that's a little nicer. So DOGE has already uncovered $55 billion, but they're saying that they expect to find $2 trillion. And so if you had that $2 trillion that they found, let's just say hypothetically they found the $2 trillion, you're talking about 20% out of that, which, according to this math, comes out to $400 billion. And if you distribute $400 billion out to 79 million households that pay income tax, which is really depressing when you think of how many people there are in the world, and that's the only number of households that are paying income tax. We're one of those. Can I just tell you? That's us. We feel sick every quarter when we have to write that payment. And so when you do that math, they say that it would be like $5,000 per tax-paying household. And so they're talking about giving back $5,000 in a dividend payment to each tax-paying household. What say you?
I mean, I don't think it's a good idea for the government to send any of these kind of stimulus checks, any of this crap. I'd rather them just fix the tax code and make my taxes lower as opposed to just giving money back. I get that they say that there's incentive to show fraud or report it and stuff like that. So maybe from that standpoint, I do like the idea though of it hey, we found all this stuff that we're wasting. We want to give it back to the taxpayer. I can understand some aspect of that, but are they only giving it to people that pay income tax? That's
my understanding. They sure as hell better not be giving it to people who are not paying income tax.
The government's never going to do that. Even the rhinos in Congress are never going to allow some junk like that.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I appreciate the sentiment of thank you for recognizing that this was our money that was wasted and we want more of it back and we deserve more of it back because taxation is theft. However, we've got a long way to go. And if you could I'm sure that there's something they could apply it to.
But just the debt.
That's what I'm saying. Apply it to whatever and then fix everything else. And then we get to pay less moving forward. I'd be okay with that too. I'd be totally okay with that. Well, as expected, Representative Jasmine Crockett, who is a disgrace to the state of Texas, she was asked about Donald Trump's and Elon Musk's idea of a potential dividend, which again, I'm not faulting them for. I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm just saying at least they're coming up with solutions. They're uncovering waste and fraud and abuse. The Democrats were totally happy to continue stealing your money and applying it towards drag shows in Peru. Okay, so trust me when I tell you, I very much appreciate the sentiment of Donald Trump and Elon Musk. But of course, Democrats are retarded and gay, and they don't like Donald Trump uncovering all of these things. If he's for it, they have to be against it. So here is Jasmine Crockett on the idea of returning the people's money that the government stole from them. Watch.
Listen, he's just telling a lie. He's not the one that had anything to do with the $1,200 refunds that people had during the midst of COVID that was done by a Democratic House and Democratic Senate. Right now, what they're going to do is say, hey, we want to give you a refund, but Congress won't let us because they already know that there's just no money for that. The only reason that those refunds came before was because we were living in different times. This was a time in which hopefully we won't ever go through again.
Right.
We had a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic. The bad part is that I don't know if it's once in a lifetime because we know that Ebola, unfortunately, was detected right here in New York here recently. And if we continue down this road of getting rid of scientists or deciding that we don't want to rely on experts as it relates to what they're telling us to do, or we don't want to deal with vaccines and medicine in this country, then we may be facing not only our next pandemic, but our next 2, 3, or 4 pandemics because of their incompetence. So no, we are not in the business of giving out money. And honestly, I don't know what $5,000 will do for you.
I don't know what $5,000 will do for you. Could you sound any more out of touch? I don't know what $5,000 will do for you. Well, Jasmine, isn't she worth like a couple $1 million now?
I believe so.
Let's look at Jasmine Crockett's net worth here. Well, Jasmine, those of us living in the real world, $5,000 can do a hell of a lot, first of all. Second of all, I'm sorry, maybe I missed it. Why is she talking about the pandemic?
Which pandemic? I don't even know where to start with this. But first off, also, I don't like you trashing her because she is a gift to the GOP. We need to embrace her. She's so smart. It's really dangerous every time they put her on camera. It makes us so worrisome. It's not like she's going to be on every single ad next year when midterms come up because I don't even know how do you do. First off, Ebola. I don't want to forget
where that came from.
Ebola in New York. I wonder why there is a third world country in New York. What could possibly be causing something like that?
I wonder where the Ebola cases are as in reference to like maybe the Roosevelt Hotel.
Yeah.
I don't know. It boggles the mind, Stephen.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And to even think that's just one thing that just a level of stupidity on her just to bring up Ebola in that.
It was a whole paragraph of retardation.
Yeah, it's like there was such. She said at the beginning, and after the Ebola thing, I can't even go back to it. And then the $5,000 at the end, like how tone deaf.
Yep.
But also, like you guys are now concerned about spending money. I just can't even comprehend. It's just so mind blowing how dumb these people are.
Well, but did you consider that she is thinking maybe that the drag shows in Peru and figuring out whether lonely rats, appreciate cocaine more than happy rats? That's another thing that our money was being spent on, according to our Congressman Brandon Gill. I mean, maybe you're just not considering that. Like those are very important.
No,
endeavors.
I'm not. Those aren't important endeavors.
Are you sure?
Yes.
If you like this clip and you want to see the full episode, click here. And if you want to subscribe to the channel, come on, you know you do. Click here.